What it do, y'all? We are back again. We've been in a nice little zone. I feel like we've been hitting a stride with these shorter episodes and just more focused. And I really like the flow of them, and I've even been enjoying listening to them. But as you'll notice, we are down one today. Um,
You're
my man Quincy is not here. I got Joe with me, but Quincy had some issues that he had to tend to. Nothing crazy. He's fine. Everything's good.
he'll
Just
be back next week.
yep, he'll be back next week. Make sure y'all send him some positive vibes, and we're gonna get into this week's episode with the homie Joe. What it do, my guy? How's the last week been?
Man, it's been good. This is probably the last time because by this time next week I might have rearranged this whole office. We'll get into that in a little bit, but the chat was a little quiet because Lester and Quincy were together up in Atlanta, but I love to see it, and I kind of want to hear some things y'all worked on while you were out there and some of the things y'all did.
Yeah, man. It was a super dope trip, man. Everybody enjoyed it. I actually went out there with my wife and kids. It was really for my daughter. She just turned 13. So we did a trip to the Stranger Things experience. It's her favorite show. So you got her tickets to
For
that.
the fans out there, that's where it was filmed. That's where like the scene is based out of and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's some spots over there that they actually recorded some of the episodes and stuff. And they had a lot of like, parts of the set built. They have some wardrobe from the actual people on the show. It was pretty dope. It was kind of like a interactive tour slash escape room slash theme park kind of vibe. Like it's hard to
Did y'all do
explain.
the escape room?
We did it. The experience itself is like that kind of like little tour, that has that escape room element,
Crack a mystery kind of.
Exactly. So it's like you got 45 minutes of the actual Stranger Things experience, and then it kind of dumps you in a room that it's like a huge warehouse that has like all the sets. You know what I mean? Like it has like a set of like the room, Will's house. It has like a set of the Scoops Ahoy, the
Yeah,
arcade. It just
that's
has
dope.
everything kind of set up with really dope like
Is
photo
any
op.
of it like real stuff, like from the sets, or is all just like kind of replicated?
I don't know if the set stuff is real, but the wardrobes that they had were actually like from the show.
That's
Like
dope.
they had like one of the main 11 wardrobe from like season 1 where she has like the little dress and the shirt, the jacket over.
Mhm.
They had that there displayed, you know.
Damn.
So they had some pretty dope stuff. It was dope, man. Like I said, the actual experience itself was 45 minutes, but we ended up being there like 3 hours, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
once they drop you in that area that I was talking about, you can hang out there as long as they're open. So we
Mhm.
were just vibing. She was, taking it all in. It was super dope. I got there on a Friday. Me and Quincy, literally, bro, like we just went to his, like he gave us the tour of the house because I haven't been there yet. You know what I mean? Since he moved out there. So he gave me the tour of the house. His house is super dope, super big, bro. Like even as big as it looked, and as big as I already knew it was, just from seeing the pictures and him giving me
Oh,
the
that was
details.
your first time there,
Yeah, it was
actually,
my
right?
actual
Yeah.
first time there, so it was like, bro, it was impressive, man. Like they literally have like a little slice of paradise over there. You know what I mean?
Man, jealous.
Yeah, they live like in a nice small. Actually, that's what I was gonna bring up. Also, they live in a dope little town. It's called Covington, and Covington is actually where they shot a lot of Vampire Diaries, and my wife is a big fan of that. So that was
Oh,
just kind of like
wow.
a
Shout out to
happy
that.
coincidence, and she was able to go see like a lot of the places where they shot parts of that. Also, they got some souvenirs, like for Vampire Diaries and Stranger Things. Like it was just a super dope weekend. We had a super dope vibe with Quincy and Robin, which is his fiance. And I mean, it was just super dope overall. And you know, it was a trip that we're definitely gonna do again soon because it was like pretty easy to get up there, and just like I said, the vibe out there was super dope. Oh, shout out to Freddie too. We
Yeah,
actually
I was
shot
gonna
a
say y'all
video.
was working out there, right?
Yeah. On the Saturday, we didn't really have no plans. So while we were kind of out sightseeing and stuff, we hit this mountain that was pretty dope that we had kind of looked up beforehand and linked up with Freddie out there so that we could shoot the Down For Me video. So Down For Me
Oh,
is
coming
doing very
soon.
well.
Coming
So
soon.
everybody that's been rocking with it, appreciate it. If you're listening to this and you haven't heard the song, make sure you check it out. right
Was
now, like,
was Freddie out there, or y'all just plan to collab out there?
so Freddie actually moved out there like pretty shortly after Quincy moved out there because he's a
Oh,
filmmaker.
damn! I
Yeah.
completely forgot that.
Yeah, his main like passion is filmmaking, and he's super dope at it. That's
We
even
gotta
why
have Freddie on, man.
yeah, man, I've been trying, bro, but he's such a hermit. You think I'm a hermit crab, dog? He makes me look like a social butterfly, dog. It's crazy. But yeah, he's a
Nah, but
filmmaker, and learned I learned that he actually just picked up the camera because of that, like because of the filmmaking and everything, and then the music videos and everything. That's just kind of like a byproduct of his like main passion, you know what I mean? So he shot the video for Down for Me, and that's gonna be coming real soon, so definitely look out for that.
yeah, I love seeing the vibes out there, man. Like I said, the chat was quiet, but I know I would be quiet if I was out there too. Like I love seeing y'all just having fun. I know you've needed a break for a minute,
Facts.
just to kind of a little disconnect, but at the same time, staying true to what we about and stick and finding time for that creativity and finding time to put a little work in. And it looked good, man. I'm excited to see it. I really am.
Yeah, man, I'm excited too. Shout out to Gonzalo from Vogus Gents. He actually has been styling me like for the last couple of shoots, and he like kind of virtually styled me and Quincy for that video just to kind of get the vibe right and everything. And it's even something that I was talking to Freddie about while we were shooting. And I was like, man, this wardrobe thing is really making a difference because like it's making me, I know that it's coming across dope on the camera. So it gets me more confident, and I'm more swagged out while I'm doing it. And he was even saying, like, I see it on the camera. You know what I mean? Like you look more comfortable than you looked before. The swag that you bring into it is different than what you was doing
Yeah.
before. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something that it's crazy, man, because even the wardrobe thing is like something that I've been knowing that I needed to do, but I just kind of knew that I wasn't ready for it yet. You know what I mean? I would have been jumping the gun if it was something I did before. You know what I mean? But now
Yeah.
that I got everything else where I need to get it, it was like, all right, this is the next step. And it's just done wonders. You know what I mean? Like I'm super excited. I'm excited for like the new merch and just the new stuff that I'm gonna be dropping with the help of Gonzalo. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. We definitely got to have him on too, man. He got a
Yeah.
dope story as well.
No, it's big, man. Wardrobe is big in everything in the industry of entertainment. And like I was just watching the show the other night, and they were like shouting out people behind the scenes, especially wardrobe, like to make people look good that you meet for the first time and you really don't know much about, but you know exactly how to make that person look good. That's a skill, man. And that alleviates the pressure of performing and wondering how you look. And that reflects back in the footage that you get when you're recording it. So that makes a lot of sense, man. There's a lot of aspects to the entertainment industry that everybody has to take count for.
And as an independent artist, once you decide, like an independent artist from any standpoint, like not even just me specifically as a singer, but anybody that's doing anything that they're creating and they're the ones kind of like hustling it. When you're an independent artist, you got to figure out every aspect because that's the point of being independent. You get a bigger piece of the pie and you keep more of the rights. But why do you do that? Because you're the one that's putting the money and time into it.
Hmm.
Somebody's not going to give you X amount of money so that you can get your thing off the ground that you're going to keep 100% ownership of. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of times people like to talk about the way record labels are, but like if you understand the business side of it, it makes sense why they do things the way they do it. You know what I mean? Like you can choose if you want to rock with them or not. That's on you. But at the end of the day, they put an X amount of money into it. They're going to make
No.
sure that they make their money back.
Yep. And that's how you evolve as an artist. And I know that's what we've been talking about with you recently. You're starting to do more things with your production that you used to outreach for and outsource for, that you're like, you know what, I can keep this in-house and just kind of start learning to do it myself. And like, and that's the kind of mind state, and like that's the kind of stuff that you have to continuously work on. It's like, what can I do that I'm making other people do for me? And you can use the influence of other people, like let them teach you. And that's the whole thing. Like learn from someone who knows, but after a while, you're gonna have to transform that into your own style and your own personality, and then you figure out how to master that for yourself.
Yep.
And I think everybody needs to do that across the board, whatever you're doing in life.
Yeah, and then another aspect of that too is like, for example, like we talking about somebody like Freddie, like part of my goal to become, the artist that I want to become is to be able to have somebody like Freddie on the team where he's getting what he deserves for what he's doing. You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean? Because right now, we're both kind of on the come up. We're kind of just, hey, you got a vision, I got a vision. We're both working hard at those things, and we can help each other make it happen. So we can work out an agreement. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And it's something that I always, make sure that I let him know I'm appreciative of. And even me as the artist and as the person that he's putting that faith into, I'm very aware of it from the sense of, all right, I can't be bullshitting. You know what I mean?
hmm
Because if
yeah.
Freddie's donating his time, and if Freddie's, taking his time to really
That's
think
professionalism.
exactly, if he's taking the time and really, caring about what I'm doing and really trying to help me get to the level that I want to get to, you know, because it's something that he's, able to, have some passion about. I got to be able to say, "Hey, I'm giving you a reason to push behind me." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, 'cause I feel like a lot of people want those people in their corner, or they want somebody to take a chance on them, quote unquote, but they haven't shown any worth. You know what
yeah.
I mean? And it's like
And
it's not about people, taking advantage of you, or you always having to, do something. But it's like, bro, at the end of the day, everybody needs to provide a service and help each other.
yeah. No, and that's why I think, like I said, in any industry, in any kind of form of success, when you're at a level where it means something, where every single thing you're doing and everybody in your camp has to do something, those camps get smaller, and you see people at high levels, sexual levels, that have people that they've been riding with for 21 years or 20 plus years that were there before they even started, because those are the kind of people that always did what you needed to do, and you always gave them what you needed to give them, and they always output what you needed them to output it. And you build that kind of team. But for everything else that you figure out you don't need someone else to do it and do it wrong, you kind of inherit those things and start working those things. But it is important to build a good team,
Hmm.
and especially coming up with someone who's coming up in the same kind of route you are, in the same kind of frequency you are, and that's dope. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely want to have a show, Freddie, man.
And that's a great topic and point that you made, like just even having that discernment of knowing what's what. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cultivate here, cut this out here. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of
Hmm.
knowing, and the even just the trial and error aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, just continue going, because stuff ain't gonna work at first.
Yeah.
But
Nah.
there's also something that I wanted to talk about, because we spoke with Mike last week, and it was a super dope episode. I was actually, like, I didn't even know it at the time, but I was at the beginning of getting sick, and I was sick for like 3 days after that, and I'm so hurt about that, because I, like, one of my claims to fame is I haven't got sick since I was in sixth grade, bro.
Oh
Like, that's
yeah,
like,
Mister, I've never gotten sick. I noticed it. That's how I knew you was sick. Where I was like, this guy's not him right now.
yeah, bro. Like, it was like I said, I've literally haven't been sick since sixth grade. I've had the sniffles or whatever, but like something that like takes me out, or like I have to take medicine or whatever. Like, it's literally hasn't happened since sixth grade, and it's like, bro. But the thing that happens is, like, when I got sick in sixth grade, it was like ridiculously sick. Like, my mom thought, like, she even thought I was on drugs to a certain point, because like I was hallucinating and everything. She's like, "Did you take something?" I'm like, "No, I'm just feeling crazy."
Yeah,
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, I wasn't as engaged as I felt like I would have been if I felt a lot better, because when I listened to the episode back, there was just so many things that I picked up on listening that I didn't pick up on while he was saying it, that like we could have kind of went down those avenues. But we're definitely going to have him back on to kind of speak to him more, because everybody really enjoyed that episode, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to it, so definitely want to talk to him more.
yeah. Shout out to Mike, man. It was definitely eye opening. It's something that I feel a large percentage, even of personally, we know our friends and our and just followers and followees that can relate to it, and that it's not hard to see someone in a position that they're unhappy. It's not hard to see those signs. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but good conversation. Shout out to Mike. We're gonna have many more of those conversations. Like I said on Facebook, like our approach is to mm, help people dig a little deeper in their thoughts. Lester has helped me done that a lot. Quincy does that a lot. Just dig deeper into more than the surface level of things, and that's what we did with Mike. That's what we're gonna continue to do on the show. It's a good thing.
Yeah, that actually leads perfectly into what I wanted to talk about. Like, it's kind of crazy because I feel like we were all kind of like in a little funk at the same time for very different reasons, and it kind of like coincided to work. It kind of worked out like that, like in a weird way. And then like we all kind of like started coming out of the funk at the same time, which was also kind of weird. And it was just something that me and Quincy were talking about. Whenever you're in that phase, like you always want to make sure, even if you know that it might not necessarily be fruitful because of the mindset that you're in, it's always important to at least keep the routine going and keep yourself in the creation mind state, because I feel like that's what falls by the wayside with a lot of people, like just kind of putting it off to the side to then when it gets to the point where like when it's time to create, it almost feels kind of foreign. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, and I would love for Quincy to dive a little deeper into that when he gets on, because he was mentioning, like that was something with him with the music, like he felt comfortable making it, but it was still something that he was a little apprehensive because he was just like unsure of himself because he hadn't done it in a while.
Mhm. Yeah, and I continue to talk on that about how um, I've always wanted to get back into my music bag, man. And like that was my whole life, and I started to downplay it and ignore it. And there's reasons for that, and there's reasons to look into why you're doing that, because if you love something and you have a passion for it, there's no reason you need to avoid it or ignore it or derail it.
So
And
quick question, going off of what you're saying, because I've always wondered this, is an aspect of that the perception of people where they kind of project on you, like if you're doing something like that you're trying to be a superstar, like is that aspect of it something that kind of shied you away from it? Because I've noticed a few people kind of they're kind of I wouldn't want to say scared, but the comments from people once they start chasing something outside the box is something that
mhm.
kind of holds them back. Did you feel like that was a little aspect of it?
No, not at all. I'm someone who's always been not afraid to put something out there. Like I've been creating since for over a decade, and I was comfortable putting something out there and not worrying what anybody said about it. That partially plays, it partially plays why I don't like playing back every episode, because I'm my worst critic probably. If I don't like something, that means more to me than if anybody else don't like it. And doing that for so long, I fought through that already. With all my close friends, like it got like there was years of you post everything, you do nothing but post. You always post, you post. And I always saw it as I use social media the way you're supposed to use it. So I did go through that, but it wasn't why I stopped. I stopped DJing because I sold my turntable. But I kept my records, I kept my mixes, I kept doing it. I did it digitally, and I never gave up until I saw the new game and I saw how much it changed. And then I was like, all right, maybe,
You felt like
maybe
it
I
might have
can't.
passed you by.
There you go.
Gotcha. That's super interesting because there's always that aspect of it with I don't know, man. I feel like it's just the reason why I asked you the question I asked is because I feel like society to a certain point kind of tries to put time limits or rules to being creative, where being creative is just being creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even like outside of the US, I mean, you don't even have to go outside of the US, but like let something that you always hear about rap. It's like once you get a little older as a rapper, they don't want to hear what you're talking about. When a rock group can tour until they're 85 and they'll sell out, you know what I mean? Like people will revere them until they die. And then a rapper would be like, bro, you old, get out of my face. Which is another reason why the whole Nas thing that we've been talking about, and the KD3 review is so like fascinating, because he's really just destroying all
He's
the
transcending. Yeah.
he's transcending, because like just because this is always going to be the comparison. You look at somebody like Jay-Z, and although when he drops an album, that he's always very successful because he's always going to have his fans and they're always going to be locked in. It's still not something that the rap world gravitates to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's more like a certain crowd, another certain crowd, you know what I mean? And then it's like a debate.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But it's rare that you can kind of get everybody to agree, like, yo, this is dope. You know what I mean? Like he's doing some of his best work right now, and you're hearing that all
Yeah.
ages. You know, and that's always something that I respected about Nas, and I just respect about any artist, period. Like you can create whenever, you know, it always adjusts. I think a certain part of that is like people think that they have to keep doing the same kind of content or be the same guy in their whole artistic journey. But it's like it changes, it's different, you know. Like even for me, like when I started making music, I was a rapper for many years. You know what I mean? Once I felt like that kind of passed me by, I was like,
Mhm.
you know what? I love music too much. You know, what could I do? You know, I wasn't a singer. It was just something that I just love music so much that I'm like, you know, I love recording. I love
Mhm.
R&B music. Let me try my hand at this, you know. And a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff I made in the early days was terrible, you know, and I'm putting that out everybody for everybody to hear. And then it's like I hear it back now and I'm like missing notes. I'm off key in some parts. Like it's just like super whack. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really put this out and didn't even realize like how horrible
Yeah.
it was at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
But that's like the I feel like that's the big aspect of being an artist that a lot of people shy away from, the fact that you're gonna fall on your face. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's inevitable.
Nothing. No, and I completely understand that, and that's why like the one thing I help people with music production. I listen to songs. I help like artists create, and I love that because I love music. But like I always told you in Quincy, like I have never been an artist, so I can't ever 100% put myself in your shoes. But one thing that I was always comfortable with, and found myself comfortable with, was mixing music and just putting music together and making people feel good and just giving good energy out. And I did that for so long. And then even after I stopped DJing, I did it in a way like creating playlists. But even like inside, I'm like, this is not giving like my full artistic value of how I see music should be played. You know what I mean? And it's evaluating like how you want to create and the message trying to get across, and not just doing it just to do it, just because people are used to you doing it or people already heard you do it. It's about finding how you want to do it and making sure you still do the same way people enjoy it. And that's what it's taken me all these years to get to. And now I found myself going back to what I know, going back to where I feel the most comfortable behind two turntables and a mixer. But I still got the new technology, still got the Serato, so I can still keep up with it. But it's like I have to put myself in this creative zone where I feel the most comfortable after all the experience I went through and all the different trials and of who I should be or what I should put out. Now I know what the most comfortable for me is behind two turntables and a mixer, and I'm going back to that. And it's dope. I never thought I would. Thought there was a time maybe I would give up. And I'm glad. And maybe I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for this podcast and us starting to do this, I probably would have. And I appreciate that, man. That we got so much coming up, so much in plan, man. I love it.
Yeah, man. Kind of going off what you were saying, like I always think about it like because it's super interesting, like somebody like Sade, you know what I mean? Like she kind of just makes music whenever she feels inspired, and it might be 10 years before you hear her do anything. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's like some artists, the way they operate, they would call that lazy. But it's like at the end of the day, it's about the quality. It's about what do you know, what are you really conveying with what you're doing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
And that's what I mean. Are you putting some out just because people want you to put some out?
yeah, exactly. I've never been one to enjoy an artist that puts out a lot of art because it's never that good. You know what I mean? Like I would rather you give me one great thing every 3 months than give me one average thing every month for 3 months. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like it's very easy to fall into that trap of like, oh, we got, you know, you got to grind 24/7. If you ain't grinding 24/7, you're
Yeah.
lazy or you're sleeping or you're slacking. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, if you make 30 songs in a day, we know that, you know, 29 of them songs is going to be regular
Hmm.
and one of them might be good. You know what I mean? The fact that you made 30 songs is irrelevant. What is in there that's going to stick? What is in there that's going to make people feel what you want them to feel? And I understand there's another aspect to music where it's just, you know, feed the machine. The more songs you have out, the more stuff you have streaming. You give people a chance to kind of like pick what they like. You give them the different lanes. You know, people will have different favorite songs, and that's the dope thing about art. It all makes sense if it makes sense to you, and if it's the way that you
Yeah.
create. You know what I mean? And that's something kind of dope even about you getting back into the stuff, because even though you say you're not an artist, you are, because you have a creative mind and you interpret things through that creative mind. So you're not literally, you know, an artist maybe in
Yeah.
sense, in the traditional sense, but there's an art to what you do, and that's what's kind of leading you back to the turntables. You know what I mean? Because even that, I kind of feel like it's something where like you're kind of presented with the art and you're interpreting it in a way that you feel like it would be enjoyed by others. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's not a traditional artist type thing. It's like somebody that I respect a lot as far as a DJ is J Period.
Hmm.
Because you know, he's like an old school hip hop type DJ, and he'll take you know, a dope artist or a classic artist and do a mix CD of them, but he's gonna choose the right songs that if you're not a, maybe if you're not a fan, or even if you are a fan, you're gonna say, dang, this is dope. How, you know, blend this with that, you know, maybe throw in this beat with this acapella here. Like, he just knows how to present it in a way to make the artist shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something
No,
that's
and
super important too.
one of my values when creating mixes, and this is what I tell everybody because they ask my opinion and I give them songs to put on their mixes and they question it. It's like, you're not making it for you. You're not making it for attention for you. You're not making it to be like, oh, this guy's playing this song. The people who I know would love my shit probably won't even post it or like it. They'll just low key listen to it and download it
Because you're
because I
outside
know,
with it. You're outside with it. You
yeah, I
know.
know who likes what. I know who likes what.
Not to
So it's,
mention, you're in basically a place that's like a leader in vibe setting. You know, you're in
oh
Vegas,
yeah,
you're hitting the strip on a regular. So you're in a
bro,
place that's
entertainment
up
capital
to
of the
date.
world, bro.
Exactly. They on it. So you
Mhm.
know what's going on.
Yeah. I go to the best of the best clubs out here, and I sit there and I see when the DJ puts a popular song that feel cool, and the vibe changes, and even we're like, "What is this? What is this? You're not doing it right." But and that's what it is. It's not for the hype. It's not for the attention. It's because I know people are gonna feel this, and it's gonna show in the plays, in the downloads, just like we're gonna do with this show. Like, it's not about the attention and the recognition. It's about how many people we reach to actually enjoy this.
Yeah, man. It's something that me and Quincy was even talking about that this weekend too. Like, it's gonna be something that when the podcast catches on, people, when people go back and listen, they're gonna be like, dang, they've been dropping these gems this whole time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like all these people that we've had on, like, I mean, it kind of like slipped under the radar, but even Mike, man, like he was the third in command at Valencia. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Well,
You know,
no.
you can ask around people that you know personally, and I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure none of them has had as a prestigious position as that.
Ain't nobody of us gave up less, a lot less, a lot less
And
than
he
he
could have
did.
and he could have parlayed that into something crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Who knows? He could have
He
been
gave up a
top guy
lot.
at UCF. He could have gone to another bigger name
Yeah.
school. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of opportunity there. And that's something that we like to hammer home on the podcast too. Is just like, you really got to figure out what you can do positively to take you where you need to go, because it's not just
Mhm.
saying, like, for example, like me as an artist, I can't just say, oh, I'm born to be a singer, and I'm just gonna be, you know, I'm just gonna drop everything because, you know, I'm gonna get there. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
not what I'm saying. It's like you got to figure out the right way to maneuver to get to where you need to go.
And you know what's dope? A quick shout out to our past episodes because I feel like our guests, that was like the prime conversations we had. Jari, Mike, Dante. When you get to somewhere in your career where you realize something's got to change.
Yeah, yeah. Now
And
that you mentioned it, that's 100% true. It's like, and I feel like even us, like we came together on this show after we all went through our collective journeys and got to that point where we realized, okay, you know, we got this one life. How are we gonna be in harmony with the fact that like you got to do what you got to do, but you also want to make sure that you're enjoying this ride as much as possible because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You know, it's not
yeah,
about what is a man-made construct of what you should be doing or what somebody tells you, hey, this is what you need to do. Nah, you can feel you know what it is. You can feel it. You can
yeah.
you have the intuition. Everybody got it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But just it's honestly, I attribute the universe, and this is something a little personal that Lester knows. Not a lot of people know. The day Lester saw me for the first time was the worst day of my life. It was crazy. I didn't see him that day, but he saw me, and that was like almost 4 years ago, and never would I have thought 4 years later we'd be doing this.
yeah, man, it's crazy just the way the way things kind of evolve. And it's funny, Joe, like we were in the league together before we even like started hanging out or even really talking like that. And just the vibe in the little interactions, even just like through text, like you can just tell people that have like a different way of thinking, you know, even in something as simple as text. You know what I mean? Like my wife always, not always, she used to, now she gets it a lot, but like she used to kind of be like, ah, nah, you're ODing, you're looking too much into this or that or whatever. But it's like everything is a representation of something. And regardless of how big or small it is, it's a representation of how that person handles that type of
Oh
situation, how
yeah.
they are about that type of thing. It shows their characteristics at a small
Mhm.
level, and you know how that blows up. It's not about over analyzing or ODing,
Nah,
zoning in on what
it's just
people do.
recognizing the kind of person people are, and like that's why I tell you, like I'm a certain way, but probably everybody in my life is not how I am. And I'm not well, some people I know who think like me too, like exactly like me, but I'm not like even close to those people or anything like that. So I've
And
learned to accept
And I would
everybody.
venture to say that you're somebody that a lot of people look to for guidance when it comes to something that's very specifically, they're trying to figure out how to do the right thing.
Yeah, nah, that yes, and that's why I just appreciate the understanding of people know you know who I am. Like I am who I am, and I continue to tell you I am. And I'm not saying I'm right. And you know, we talk about self improvement all the time. You know, changing our habits, trying to make ourselves better. And I just appreciate people who understand that about me. And like my wife's one of the biggest, most incredible people who understand that. I don't know how she does it. I feel like she's an alien, but that's what the relationships I draw towards and I build the most on.
Yeah, man, call me naive, but I feel like we're not getting right now, but I feel like it's the world is kind of moving in the direction where more people are going to have that understanding. I feel like, I don't know, man, I just feel all that old school bigotry, all that entrenched kind of, you know, toxic behavior
Mhm.
kind of just like dissolving as the years go by. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm not a big you know, political guy or like really like the type of person that really stays in tune with like I always know what's going on, but I'm not the type of person that keeps up with things that are unnecessary, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like I pay attention. I'm not uninformed when it comes to politics, and I'm not uninformed when it comes to things going on in the world. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's not something that consumes me. It's not something that I'm gonna even comment on online or anything,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, that's all man-made things that
Mhm.
honestly have nothing to do with me and the universe that I created around myself.
Yeah. And you know what? We have a lot of the same sentiments there. And there's such a rebuttal against that feeling. They feel like, no, you have to be involved. And I go back to that picture of the galaxies in this universe and how we were like a fucking period in a sea of fucking capital O's. Like, so minuscule, man.
We're a grain of sand on a grain of sand on a grain of sand.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
There's a
It's
lot of
definitely
ways to look at it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways to slice it, but the dope thing is, as long as you're trying to slice it, you're the type of person that I'm
Yeah.
trying to build with. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
any way you try to approach this thing, as long as you, like I said, as long as you come in at it with positivity and an eagerness to learn and to get better, it's
Yeah.
always gonna work.
I'll tell you right now, I've reached several points in my life and my career where I said, all right, this is cool. I can do this for the next few years and not want anything more. And then within like 6 months, I'm like, all right, what's next? And it's not just in my career, in my life. What do I want to improve? What do I want to make big? And like right now, it's my creativity. Like I said, this office is changing. I need a creative vibe. It's 100% an office vibe because I thought it would give me concentration, but I don't need that concentration more. I can work. I've been working my whole life. I know how to work. I can sit here and work. But if I make this creative environment, I think that's going to change the game. Change the
Well,
game.
I'm excited to see the changes, man, and we've all been talking behind the scenes. Maybe that's something we can get into in the next episode. It'd be nice to just put these things in the air and put the goals in the air, so we can, verbalize it and really make it happen for next year. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a big thing for you as far as all of us collectively to really believe what we're going for and really visualize it and make it happen. So that
Mhm.
would be something dope for us to talk about, because I know we've all been talking about it kind of behind the scenes. A lot of the good things going on that's kind of leading in a direction for all of us. And I
Yeah.
think it'll be dope to kind of get into that with the people so they can, really, really know what we're talking about.
We're constantly finding ways to self-improve. That's one of the main topics of our chat. And various other people that are in our close circle. There's certain people that we speak to every day because they're in the same mind state. And I everybody who I follow who does something to better their life and they post about it, y'all know I big every single one up. Every single one, even if I'm not best friends with them or see them or talk to them. Anybody who I see do something big, I big them up. I hit it up right there. And if you listening and you want to tell us what led you to make that decision and what led you to take that leap, because these people are my age, they're either approaching their 40s or in their 40s, and they've done something to take their shit to a whole nother level. And those are the kind of people we want to talk to. Like, what got you there? We got to influence everybody else who listens to this show to do the same thing with their lives if they find themselves in a situation where they want more, and to just put that plan in process and just take that first step.
Facts, man. Yeah, man. I'm super excited just to kind of continue going with everything that we've been doing, man. This will be our Christmas episode, basically, right? Because it'll
Yeah.
drop
Well,
on
yeah,
Monday.
yeah, yeah. Next one will be the New Year's.
Hey, man, Merry Christmas. I'm actually about to get off and go. I got my wife a Quaker parrot for Christmas.
Oh,
I just
damn.
brought him home today. She's super hype, and she just got here, and I know that she's probably going crazy over there, man.
That's perfect.
Um,
Where'd you get it from? Like a bird seller? Where do you get
yeah,
those from? Or a pet shop?
there's a bird shop like near my house, like coincidentally, and it's a very good one. They had the birds at a great price. It was a pretty pricey bird, and he sat with me and explained everything about taking care of the bird and what it needs to do in the beginning and what they include buying it there. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to get one like kind of off the street or from a breeder, because then you don't really have nobody to go back to if something happens, especially us that we're novice with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's super dope, man. I can't wait for it to
I'm
get
ready to
bigger
hear
and
the
stuff.
stories about it.
Yeah, it's a baby, but it's pretty big, bro. It's like probably like this big or something as a
Yeah.
baby. So it's gonna get like a little bigger. So that's pretty dope too, man. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing those stories of what that pair gonna be saying.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna teach you to say yeah, yeah. I'm telling you.
Shout out to the merch.
But yeah, man, appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope everybody has a great holiday, or had a great holiday when you hear this. Um, uh, I think that's about it for me. You got anything
Yeah.
else?
Now we'll see y'all next week. Stay grounded. Subscribe to the YouTube for
And
shout
we
for shout.
and we about to bring out the clip of the state butter because we've been throwing that in the last couple times.
I left it out this week. Lesson said it last week.
And I don't
Yeah,
know,
we gotta
man.
bring
I
it
think
out.
maybe we should just keep saying it, and maybe when we get to like episode 100 or something, then we can give the story and drop the clip.
All right, I'm down with that.
Let's
I
do
don't
that. Let's
mind
do
that.
that.
I like
All
that.
right, y'all. Stay butter.
Hey.